I am going live. I see the going live here. You're live. Okay, well, what do you know? This is an interesting process for me. I'm still learning about the scheduling of going live. I will try and hide this user interface from you because who needs it? It's really quite surprising we use a web browser for this sort of thing. So you're going to be along with me while I attempt to make a CLI command with Python. Now, for those of you who are getting familiar with the concept, it's fairly easy in Python to make a command. It's just your Python file. This is from my last entry. And I was making certain discoveries. The key discovery from my last video is that you can test something that you've never pushed up to PyPy, which is where things get pip installed from. See, when you pip install under Python, when you use its package manager to pull down third-party packages to use, like pandas and requests and all the other wonderful things that are not included with the standard library, you pip install them. When you're a developer and creating things that you would like to contribute to PyPy so that other people can pip install them, there's kind of a challenge to test it locally. So that was my discovery from my last live stream. If you didn't see it, check it out. I did the test. It works. It's really nice. Pip install -e for, what was that? It's the title of my last video. It's, what was that? Well, anyway. Pip install -e editable. It's an editable install. It's a pip install, still editable, local from the directory I am in. So you would cd into that location, type that command. Oh, hi there. Name that I had difficulty pronouncing yesterday, Bonnie. Yeah, I'm going to go with Bonnie. Yep, Bonnie reporting in. This is going to be a fun one because this is a building block of what I really want to do. It's really... The goal here is I am re-implementing my blog slice and dice system, which is super awesome for SEO, right? I'm a search engine optimizer, so I figure if I'm going to be doing blogging, I'm going to be doing it in a super search optimized way, and I'm a great deal of the way there. It's, as many things are in Python, it's ready, finish, aim. So I have ready, finished, right? This stuff is already out there. Like, you can see what I'm talking about. Just go to my site, mikelev.in, and you will see I now have the crosshairs lined up. I was telling you before, I didn't have the crosshairs lined up because the crosshairs, as you will remember, is the title tag. That's the part I didn't have right. It's the URL. And of course, it's keywords in. And that is lining up crosshairs. So those are the first two, the title tag, the URL. Of course, a headline like element, usually an H1 or H2. And then the last piece is, the anchor text in off-page links, which of course lead to the page. The off-page clues, the breadcrumb trails, the citations, the references. So any of my articles, let's choose this one, Python SEO step number 1, persistent dictionaries, right? I'm the counterintuitive guy. You want to get started with Python SEO? The first step is to make your dictionaries persistent because every project you do is going to have a data collection phase. And in the data collection phase, you want persistent dictionaries because it's key value pair. It's a rapid way to just slurp down data from any source, crawling, APIs. It doesn't matter. It's for every project. So the word persistent dictionaries is in a headline like element, right? If we viewed source, you'd see that. It's in here, persistent dictionaries. It is now, thank you very much, in the title tag as well. There's persistent dictionaries. I can't go pointing at it. I'll point with the bottom of the mouse thing. And then, of course, from the page before it, here's persistent dictionaries and a link leading to it. And in the page after it, here's persistent dictionaries in the link leading to it. And then, of course, from the blog index page itself, it's here. So that's 3 offsite anchor text links that are pointing to this with the targeted keyword. Over-optimized? Maybe, but old school SEO is very, very powerful. It hasn't gone away. So lining up the crosshairs is just like the hi, how you doing of targeting a keyword. So that's really the goal here. And it's done. The goal is done, right? So we're just talking about making things better than they even are now. And how do I make things better? Well, it occurs to me that my blog system is comprised first of a bash script. That is a Unix command script. This is written in Unix script or bash shell script, a dialect of Unix that is from the long, long ago, and it was chosen by Ubuntu for their terminal shell, and thus it was chosen by Microsoft for their terminal shell. Thus it is a very important shell scripting language, and it's always there. It's like pervasive. Let's see what you're saying. Bonnie, do you always take this much notes? Yesterday I went through your blog and found a lot of awesome posts. Yeah. Always be writing. I write by thinking. That's one of my big lessons of Vim, right? Vim is not just for bash shell scripts. Vim is not just for Python. Vim is not just for JSON files and JavaScript. Vim is also for your daily journal and everything else. So, I got 18 of them loaded at the same time, and I can jump between any of them. And these are just the public ones that you can look at. With the exception of the first one, which is my private journal, but I always have it rigged so it's at the very top or very bottom, which are both public. So, I am never not thinking in Vim, and that means a lot of writing, a lot of notes. So we're in the bash script of it. But if I do bprev, you'll find another part of my release system, which is a .py file. So now I have a bash file and a .py file, and that's not all. Wait, there's more. The third part of my release system, just out of convenience, this wasn't terribly planned. I just slapped it together using the most convenient tools at the time. That's MLSEO, which we'll be talking about as well. This is my blog release system, which again is ultimately a .py file. However, I develop it in Jupyter Lab, which makes it a notebook, a .ipynb file. So far I've got a bash file I maintain, I got a py file I maintain directly as a py file, and then I've got a Jupyter notebook that I keep as a Jupyter notebook. And sometimes the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and I end up with dropping title tags across the whole site, and that's gotta end. That's just not the way I can work. I need to unify it, and the place I'm going to unify it is under Python with a twist. The Python file is going to call the components as if they were Linux commands. Consequently, I'm going to go for a kind of jigsaw puzzle approach, or / modularity of the Unix and Linux flavor. That means the components will be in written Python, but they'll be called exactly as Linux CLI commands like ls, cd, pwd, git are called. See, so they're going to actually be called from a Python file using the whatever that is. It's something about executing external files. And I'm doing that so that it's just ultimately portable, and I have these pieces that can be used inside Python, outside Python, it doesn't matter. But it'll be unified that way. I'm actually going to a sort of unification. So where's this thinking coming from? Where's the inspiration? First of all, it's easy to do this stuff with Python space filename.py, some argument switch, and foo.txt. And if you were willing to have that Python word there every time, I could just do it this way, but I'm not willing to do that. I'm trying to get it to just file name hyphen argument hyphen value of argument, or parameter value of as arguments. You know, there's this thing about what's a parameter or what's an argument. Parameters are like the names of the spots, and then the arguments is what's being given. It's kind of like a key value pair where the parameter is the key and the value is the argument. But, you know, people use this stuff interchangeably, so it doesn't matter. My inspiration is, as usual, these days coming from NBDev and the fast.ai people and Jeremy Howard in particular. So a bunch of stuff I'm doing because I really do work this way a lot by using tools that are using the techniques that I'm trying to get to. So I work this way a lot, but I use tools that are written this way. So I went over to look at how he's doing it. And I said this on the last video, but I will repeat it because it's worth repeating. I searched and found the question of how to create a CLI command, a command line interface command, it's redundant, in Python that can be installed with pip. So you pip install nbdev and you've got those commands like nbdev buildlib, nbdev clean notebooks. So they answer it. They say, oh, it's part of setup tools. And they give an example here. And I say, well, it must be part of nbdev as well because I don't use setup tools. NBDev does that work for me. I should use setup tools. I like to know the lower level stuff. It's just one step down. But NBDev does such a great job. So here is NBDev inside of GitHub, fastai/NBDev. This file is the settings.ini, which does double, triple, quadruple duty for things inside this system. It's the one config file to rule them all. And so I went down and I found, oh, console scripts. There's a bunch of names. These are the things I actually do. Not that one, but I'm always using clean NBS, right? There's that one that you saw over there. So I traced down where these things are coming from in the settings.ini. That doesn't mean I know how to do it. So I traced down the fact this big discovery was right beneath, right, the editable pip install editable, my last video, was right beneath this big discovery, which is behind the scenes NBDev uses setup tools for handling the installation of modules as cross-platform console scripts. These are just not command line commands you're making, but they're ones that'll work on Windows under PowerShell. They'll work on Linux and Linux subsystem for Windows, and they'll work on Macs. It's better than making a command that you would have to recompile across all platforms. So I said I really needed to understand Python setup tools. And because it follows the same syntax, you'll find here that they use the same format as setup tools. Okay, I got to learn about setup tools. And so I come over here to command line scripts, right? I did that search. I showed you the Google search, Python setup tools command line. And they give an example, and I'm going to be doing the hello world, time allowing. My wife will be getting home from karate soon, and I'll probably keep going and just nod a hello to her. But I'm feeling a little bit against the clock, so I'm going to try and get to a hello world program. There are two mechanisms that setup tools provides to do this. The scripts keyword argument and the console scripts entry point. Now I'm just going to jump ahead and say the console scripts entry point are entry points into functions within a larger Python file. I don't need it. I'm going to do the simple one. So the scripts keyword argument, that means there's a script keyword here somewhere, and this is where I decided to start the streaming. I'm going to figure this out. The NBDev example is almost certainly using the more complicated of the two. These are entry points. So there's a name of a command, and it's going to find the command in something dot something colon something. So it seems to me they're using that lower example here, which is the console scripts entry point, where you can kind of jump into the middle of a function. So I'm going to try and figure out how to do it the easy way, right? You can test the script by running it directly. Import funniest command line, funniest. So we're going to try and get to, so that's importing it to run it. You know, we're going to be testing it on the command line. Here's a single command line.py, right? That's going to be our hello world. I expect this will be our hello world. Where am I going to put it? That's a little bit of a challenge. I'm tempted to do it in a notebook, use nbdev build lib to make it end up in the subdirectory of the package where the .py files are. But instead of doing it with a conversion, I got that copied into my buffer. I don't see why I don't just open cd into my blog slicer, ls, you can see there's a subdirectory there called blog slicer, cd into blog slicer again. I'm 2 levels down in blog slicer, ls. You can see the core.py file that nbdev exports from this, see? Default export core. When I run from the directory level up, when I run nbdev build lib, it takes that notebook and puts it over here into this subdirectory, cd blog slicer. I don't expect everyone to follow everything, but in this actual location, I'm going to vim, and I'm going to change the file name. Hello world. That's going to be my command, because why not, right? I'm doing a hello world test, I for insert, right click to paste. It didn't paste correctly, so I copied it from the website wrong. This has been going wrong a lot lately. Copying from Windows apps takes several copies. You've got to be really determined. So this is importing funniest, def main, print funniest joke. See, I don't see the need to do that. I think we're just going to print hello world. So I've got a hello world in there now, right? This wasn't there before. It is there now. This is the part that makes it exploratory. I hear you, Winnie. I got some cat feeding to do real soon. They know it's 9 p.m. I'll check whether you guys are typing to me. Not yet. Okay. Woo. I don't know setup.py. I don't know setup tools. I know nbdev. Ugh. So maybe I should have exported it. Think. Let's see what the nbdev command to do it is. That's build libs, build notebooks. Yeah, I'm silly to put it here as a file and do it outside nbdev. I'm relying on nbdev to do this work for me because I don't know setup tools. So I'm going to remove that hello world.py, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to bite the bullet, and inside the blog slicer directory, so I go one directory up, and then I go into my blog slicer, and then I'm going to do a new notebook, Python notebook, and I'm going to put that there, not that, but again, I need the code from off the site, the hello world code, which turns out to be remarkably hello world. Who even needs to copy this if what you're going to do is, now do they have a funniest file? See, that command line is this So no, you don't need to import Funniest. It's just a standard Hello World program. Ugh. I'm trying to right-click to paste as if I were in Vim. And I was almost using Python 2 syntax. Okay, so you got Hello World. Now to make it NB-devified, you need to have something like this here, that command. My new untitled, I've got 2 untitles. That's bad news. We're going to have to rename that right away. I'll just go with hello, right? That's fine. And we will see a lot of weird flickering. That was strange. We see if it renamed it here as hello. Hello, it did. Hello, hello. And we will export it as hello.py. Now we have a file here, which when we go over here, cd up 1, and we nbdev build lib, you can see it picked it up. Hello.ipmy is converted. We go back to blog slicer subdirectory ls, and there's our hello.py. nbdev created it now. And so we should be able to cd ... vim settings.ini. I leak my email address again. I'm always doing that. So what? If you want to email me, that's fine. I don't care that much. In fact, the community people, man, you people out there, you know, this is really interesting to me now. I used to not do this for the community, but you people are making me really appreciate this. Feed them, haha. I should feed the cats. Okay. Should I? I could take you with me as I go feed the cats. They'll live. They're well taken care of kitties. Maybe I'll give you a view of them here. This is Airy Kitty. Hello, Airy Kitty. Airy's on the foof. The loud one over here, and you're going to see how messy things are. I'm getting ready for a move, but the one who just darted past, that was Linny Kitty, and Linny and Airy are 2 little kitties I know. All right, so we're going into the settings.ini of a NBDev project. And we're borrowing the syntax kind of from here. Hopefully it's just one line, because there's this indenting thing here. There's one set up here, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just doing one. Now they're using a syntax here. The name of the command equals some nested thing inside of a function inside of a package. I'm not doing that. So I make very sure I've copied this. There's so many things going wrong with a copy buffer in Windows these days. It's very strange. And I go down here. I don't know. I'll start from here. And I just paste it in. Yeah, I do believe my wife is home from karate. So it's something equals something. It's going to be hello. I want the command to be hello. And let's see. Now we go to the setup.py thing, and we try and get the plain Jane vanilla hello world example for a setup tools, setup.py entry that isn't the complicated way. I'm probably scrolling right over it. This appears to be it. They say it uses the same syntax. That's the syntax. That's going to be it. Now I think we get rid of a lot of this square bracket stuff. But it's not funniest. The package is called hello because it's hello.py. That command line seems to be some convention that's used. And I used the main function just like they did. Now I'm going to see if there's anything else in here, because it occurs to me there's some concept of where this stuff gets put, like a /bin directory. I don't know how it deals with the cross-platform stuff. NBS path. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that there's a lot of hocus pocus and hand waving. I wish I was showing you the true setup.py way of doing this, but I think that's beyond my ability for this video right now. But it appears to me that the whole build process should be about exactly the same as it is for all the rest of NBDev, which is just quitting out of that and running NBDev build package again, build lib. We look to see if there's anything like the creation of a command. And then I'm going to, hi there. And then I'm going to see if that command is actually available. And it's just grabbing for it real, hopefully. Nope, I'm getting the Ubuntu syntax or interface for suggesting that I apt install it. So that is not exactly what I was hoping for. So we just take a look at the NBDev instructions for it. Oh, yep, nbdev.cli. That looks a little bit different, doesn't it? That probably speaks a little bit to the tools that are called in creating the command. Where it's command underscore line in the example from the setup.py documentation. Oh, see, there's the buffer stuff being not what it seems. Once again, when copying from a website, you highlight it, and you Control C, 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 and that'll probably do it. Yeah, see? Okay. Save, quit, nbdev build lib. And this might not work. This might just be a kind of streaming, kind of jabbing at things at random to see if, you know, poke it in the brain, see if it works. Hello? No, still not yet. Okay, so we see whether I'm doing something subtly wrong. Console underscore scripts equals, and then my thing, it should be hello equals nbdev CLI. Ooh, no. Colon main, right? It's going to be colon main. And this is the path. I think I had it right before. That has to be hello.main colon, well, hello.main colon main. Ah, that's interesting. This is the path into a package. It might just be hello colon main, because I have a very simple non-OO kind of layout. Yeah, no, that's not tools from NBDev that's being invoked. It might be this simple. It might be this simple because it already knows it's a console script. Putting command line stuff here seems rather redundant. Now, the other weak link in the chain is it might not be nbdev build lib that converts it into a command. Hello? Yeah. I'll take a few more stabs at this from the documentation. I think it's up to looking back at this documentation. So a console script in this other slightly different syntax is funniest joke, which seems to be tied to, yeah, it's not even the file name. See that? Is it the package it's in? Do I have to use blog slicer? No, that's definitely the one most to the left. So that most to the left is going to be the one that it's actually named. There's no doubt about that. And that gets equal to something. Now this is importing, their example up here is importing funniest, right? Now I don't see where the word command line comes in necessarily. Do you have to import something to make a command line tool? That doesn't seem to make sense. If it didn't use funniest here, it would be starting from just command line. So maybe it's command line : main, right? I don't see how it can be. It needs to know the package name. If it doesn't know it's coming in through hello, then it could be coming in from any file in that directory. So it needs to know hello. There's no other choice. And that command _line, where is that coming from? See, on this import, they're saying command line belongs to funniest, and funniest is part of that import. And then they're invoking funniest.commandline.main. So they're saying you can test this, you can test commandline.py. There's a file, commandline.py. That's interesting. See, the file here is named commandline.py. I might be looking at the syntax. See, you test the script by running it directly. The main function can then be registered as so. See, that's registering the main function. We need to make sure we're looking at the example that's being given for the first of the two ways this can be done. The scripts keyword argument. Oh, see, there's a scripts keyword argument. So that sounds to me like scripts has got to be used. Set up scripts equals. Yeah, scripts equals bin/funniest joke. Yeah, maybe that's where it puts it. This can, okay. That's a new thing to try. Let's just get rid of this. Well, it's definitely going to be hello equals, right? Hello equals, that doesn't go away because that's going to be the name that gets used as the command. No, they're saying scripts equals, because they're saying it's a scripts keyword argument. The scripts keyword argument. The first approach is to write your script in a separate file, such as you write a shell script. The example here is funniest. Oh, they put it in bin. They put it in bin under the package. And in fact, they don't even put an extension on it, is what they're saying. How counterintuitive is that? And then they don't even necessarily need that original notebook. That was all just a red herring. I was on the right track originally. Okay, I get it. It's almost the syntax. So let's put that in here. And it's going to pick up the name from the name of the file. These square brackets weren't used, and neither were the quotes used in the nbdev example in GitHub in that file here. There's no single quotes. There's no square brackets. So bin/hello, hello. Okay. So this is why I'm different from other YouTubers and streamers. You're just going to see me backing up like a Roomba, turning a little, trying again, backing up like a Roomba, turning a little, trying again, right? So I was missing this concept of the scripts keyword. So on the left, the keyword is script and it's /bin/hello. So in all likelihood, we need to clear, make the font a little bigger, make their bin move our hello. No, we want to move our blog slicer / hello into bin. cd bin ls remove, or we want to move our hello.py to just hello. We want to vim hello to make sure that nbdev did the conversion I needed, and that's not it at all. Somehow I ended up with, vim hello. And so somehow we ended up with a weird thing in there. The all, that's what controls IntelliSense or autocomplete, but we're just going to do print hello. Forget functions. The simplest hello world of making a command. This should be it. And then when we cd ... and nbdev build lib, it should detect that from the settings ini and all that. I don't see it having done that. No, it's still not found. cd bin ls hello, there's hello, Python hello. Yeah, hello world, right? So it works. I'll show you that again. You see, it doesn't need the .py extension. So I kind of get a little more about what they're going after. So we cd ... we vim the settings.ini, and we double check that what I have here is as close as possible to the synthesized examples provided here in nbdev's layout. So console scripts equals, and then there's this, and then there's indented on a whole bunch of others, which make it apparently belong to this, kind of like a YAML approach to these things. And something : something is the syntax to go inside to grab things out of a function, dots and colons. So I'm just leaving that behind, and I'm taking the advice from here, which is saying it's, maybe I use the square brackets and the, it says, no, that it couldn't be because that's Python. And they strip out the Python syntax and go more YAML-like in the settings.ini. So it's bin without a leading slash, which makes it relative to the current directory, and then the file name. So I think I got this. And if I got it and nbdev build lib isn't doing it, maybe one of these other commands here does it. Build lib, update lib, diff nbs, test notebooks, build docs, notebook to markdown, trust nbs, clean nbs, read nbs, fix merge, install git hooks, bump version, new, and detach. Those are the nbdev commands. I do not see it really realistically being anything other than this. So let's look at where it's put in the file. I doubt it's that, but they put it right under requirements. And maybe there's something else in here that says, I've got some commands inside of me. Host, libname, user, branch, version, description, keywords, author email, title, copyright, license, status, min Python, audience, language, requirements. So I'll move it under requirements. I don't think I need these indents unless I'm doing more than one command. NBS notebooks path, docs path, doc hosts, base URL, git URL, libpath, nbdev. No, that's already in there. Test flags, custom sidebar, recursive, cell spacing, monospacing, show all documents. No, this is not anything unusual. Why, oh why would you not be commandifying? See if anyone's typing to me. Maybe someone who tuned in out there knows. Are you researching for me? Are you doing my Googling for me? No, come on, you should be doing my work for me. Let's see who else is online. People watching. 4 views. Okay. I hope this is a successful video. It probably will not be at this point. I'll research it. Having this experience under my belt, we teach you how to be Charlie Brown later on. You know, get up and come back at it again. And be dev build lib. Now it seems to me I would see it here. Oh wait, there's hello, and that's the hello.ipynb from back there, so that doesn't count. That's just going to do a conversion of the notebook that we had set up. I hear something.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, what? I think Cortana was talking to me. Oh no, that was my Android phone. How weird. Things are always listening. Okay, so the next thing to suspect is in the same way that when it is a notebook, and you have special commands in there, comments that have meaning for NBDev, maybe that has to be done over here, and maybe it does need to be main. No, I don't think so, because it's just running it. That would require if name equals underscore main, and it would just call the function that way. It's executing the script. But I do believe that vim bin hello might need that in there. Space underneath for good measure. I don't see it. Hello, hello. Another possibility is they're doing path tricks, and we just need to open a new. No. Oh, I hate when exit doesn't really exit it, because now you got to do this. You got to go into the virtual screen mode, or the virtual desktop mode, and close it like that. That's a bug. All right. I cry uncle. I'm going to do some quick Google searching and see if I can salvage this as a standalone video without a follow-up. NBDev, not setup tools. Command lines. The tutorial, command line functions. We need the actual name that's used in there. NBDev console scripts. Of course, we're going to get the tutorial again. Create command. Exported function as a command line script. Close. I'm doing it the non-function way. I'm doing it the standalone script way. Trying to augment one function of a NBDev module to be used as a command line script. Taking a look at how they do it. He's already included decorators from FastScript, call parse. No decorators. This doesn't need decorators. Pip install E to make the command available. Is it all circular? This is circular. So first we have to pip uninstall the pip installed version of Blog Slicer. I don't have it installed on the Linux side. I have it installed on the Windows side. So I can do pip install E from this location. Python egg did not run successfully. Oh, at least we have some. NunType has No attribute originates from a subprocess and is likely a problem with pip. Well, this is hopeful. Maybe some of my earlier things would have worked, but now we have stuff to rapidly try. It may not even need to build lib because that lib is built. NBDev build lib is to convert IPY and Bs to PY files. This is essentially a PY file, even though it doesn't have the extension. So I might be on the fast track to a solution here. It's in either settings.ini, the way this is defined right here. It's either that looks correct. It's as simple as possible. Out of the bin subfolder, run hello, as if it were Python. It's going to echo hello world. There's no functions. It shouldn't need a function. That is complexifying the writing of command lines, because half the things I'm going to write are in Jupyter notebooks in the first place, which I'll find a way to render into this bin subfolder with the .py stripped off. Maybe I'll use Stream Editor from Linux/Unix. So most likely the issue is in bin hello, right? But that doesn't look like it has any issues. That's as simple as it gets. Now, it doesn't need that convert thing for sure. It's just the simplest of all hello world programs, and we assure ourselves of that by going python bin/hello. And this is running, so we do that pip install thing again, and then we look more carefully, preparing the metadata. Setup.py error, subprocess exited with error, Python setup egginfo did not run successfully, exit code 1 line of output, error in blog slicer setup command. None type, as this is always there. So there's, this is always one of your common errors. That means something has the none value that something else is looking at and trying to do something with and not expecting the none value. Something is looking for a group method, a group, well, they're saying attribute, a group attribute. This error originates from a subprocess and is likely not a problem with pip. But let's see if hello is there. Did it work anyway? No, it did not work anyway. See above for details as a hint. Generating package metadata. Metadata generation failed. All right, so once again, it's most likely the settings.ini. Remember all the stuff I've been trying for this, so I have it subtly wrong. Scripts equals bin/hello. I mean, how much simpler could it be than that? But let's look at what setup.py does in that case. And I'll check if anyone's typing to me. Yeah. Okay. I'll check if I'm still streaming. Am I still streaming? Yeah, I'm still streaming. People are coming and going. It's not as fun to watch someone struggle and not have the success. It's probably why things like my stuff isn't so popular. It's not giving the answer right away. So I was checking what setup.py has to say about that. It's got to be this one. I keep looking down there where the console scripts entry point. That's a different entry point. I'm using a scripts entry point. Scripts equals, maybe it needs the quotes around it. Maybe it needs to be defined as a string. Perhaps it was reporting none value, so maybe it was choking on a string value versus a non-string value. Unlikely, because nothing else in here has a string value that you would imagine is parsed that way. It's still the same error. So diagnosing this sort of stuff is things like, let's take that line out of settings.ini. I believe we can comment it out, But you know what? I'll just put it in the copy buffer. Not risk even that commenting it out, because you know what? That could be mess it up. This is the one place where copying from Windows is reliable from out of Vim. Copying from Vim is reliable, and out of Windows isn't. Now it's out of a turn of tables. This is going to work. I can tell already. It's definitely that line. It's how I do that line. But that's like the simplest Hello World example. Is it too simple? Do I have to be using the functions? I would hope not. Let's give it a try. Has to be a function? Maybe, maybe. Well, let's see what happens if we do another pip install here. So, okay, it's going to be successful again. Vim settings.ini. It's been put right under the requirements line. Take out those quotes, which are unlikely necessary. We look again at the example they're giving here. Funniest joke. Funniest joke is not the name of the file, if I recall correctly. They made a funniest joke. We add a funniest joke command line tool. Yeah, no, it is. The file is named funniest joke in a bin subdirectory of funniest, not 2 levels down, as might be the case. See, funniest/funniest exists, but it doesn't live there. It lives here. Now let's look at their setup.ini and maybe go around no, they're not giving an example of the setup.ini. They're just assuming you know how to do it from other pages. So I will rely on nbdev for that step and use the nbdev syntax. There might be a setup.py that's being generated in here. So I'm going to save that because it's the closest thing to what I think is going to work. And I'm going to look in here and I am going to vim the setup.py that is auto-generated and see scripts. That's this line. Console scripts, cfg.get, console scripts split. Doesn't look all that much like what I would expect it to look like. Maybe they don't support both ways. Maybe they only support that keyword way of doing it. And that's where parsing null comes from. All right, Roomba backs up. Roomba retries. We got to use the console scripts keyword because they're not supporting that other easier, just the script file way. nbdev has to support all this stuff, the conversion of setup.py. So, cd bin vim hello. It's got to have a function. Def. Oh, hello.hello. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm going to do it. Hello, hello. cd vim settings.ini. Now we have to change our syntax from this command, from the scripts one, which was the first example, which I took so much care to make sure I was actually abiding by, to the second one, which I was accidentally using. So you can see how you zero in on this stuff. You sort of spiral in towards it, And it is once again going to follow something like that. So I'll just paste, if my fingers can listen to my telepathic commands. Why aren't I controlling text telepathically? I thought I could control text telepathically. Control C. That's the new Control C from web browsers. And That's our model there that we're going to follow. Oh, before I try that, I just noticed it might be that. And it might even be a simpler version of that. Let's try. That's new. Oh! Hello. No, but close. Vim, bin, hello. Go back to that. Vim settings.ini. Scripts equals perhaps just bin/hello. Could it be that easy? Survey says oh, I should be bumping the version. Ooh. One more thing to test before I oh, it might be doing that. Found instantly. No, that's my old version. Let's try hello. No. Vim settings.ini. We will bump that version. But we are also going to look at the example here, because console scripts equals the alias equals the path to the thing. So scripts equals alias equals, right? I don't think I have that right now. Scripts equals hello equals bin hello. Do I finally have it? Am I that stupid, right? Self-deprecating, right? You gotta have a sense of humor about this and yourself. Now is that the bump to number? No, it's still saying 0.3. Ah, successfully installed 4. Hello? Oh, so close. Let's take a look at what settings is saying. No, it's not settings.ini, setup.py. Jump to the bottom, we know where it's putting it. Let's see if it's scripts. Console scripts. Okay, it's not creating the error anymore. That's strange, but maybe I was onto the right track in the first place. So we're going to do one more thing while I'm at it. Vim settings.ini. We go back to the console scripts. I don't have that anymore. And we'll follow the exact model they have, right? If you can't beat them, join them. Hello equals package dot, probably package colon function name, because I'm not going to have the dot things. That's probably object oriented. It's probably going to be the packet hello equals hello colon bin hello. Now I'm confused whether it's going to be pulling it out of the bin location. Hello colon hello. The package hello. Inside the package, the function named hello. Hello equals hello colon hello. Now it appears to me that this first colon is always going in from the is always going to be the function name, right? It's function, so it's path, it's package path colon function. So this is going to have to be colon something like main. Oh, I'm going to hate using this. This might just be a completely wasted thing, because if I have to use functions in a notebook, it defeats half the purpose of the notebook. It gets rid of all the wonderful REPL things. So I'm just going to see if I can make it work, right? I believe I understand it. The command that we're creating, called hello, is going to be coming from out of a package, a .py file named hello, calling the function named hello, regardless of entry point. I don't have to do if name equals main hello, like as if you were running that as a standalone script. But what I do have to do now is cp bin/hello to the current directory. I'm pulling it a directory up. Boom. And it copied it. It's in both places, but I can edit the one that's here. And then I can def hello colon and indent that by 1. Remove cursively the bin directory. Don't need it. Need to control my variables. And then find the pip install command, see if it succeeds. It's not failing. Oh, it's still the rev number. I gotta remember to rev those numbers. Oh, no module named hello. Ah, that is not the error that comes from Ubuntu. That's an error that comes from a registered module that it's looking for. No module named hello. No module named hello. No module named hello. So give it a module named hello. It's only going to be in one of 2 places. Right now it's on that upper level, just GitHub/blog slicer. So we are going to copy that hello into the next level down of blog slicer. And we're also going to make dir that bin folder again. And we're going to copy hello. This isn't a very controlled test. I just want a success into the bin folder. And then we're going to try hello again. Okay, it's not there, but now we can at least do the pip install again. Really got to rev that number. Wait, what? No error? Hello? Oh, no module names hello. Okay, so I must have had no error before. Let's take a look at some of that stuff there. Clear. And try hello again. And find where it's coming in through. Oh, Python 3.10 bin hello. That's interesting. Really? Hello? Oh, no, that's a long shot. I did it one directory up. I accidentally created a bin folder up here, probably. CD back into where I was, because I know where I need to put it. We're just going to try running hello one more time so I get that error on the screen. And then I'm going to just pick up that path. I'm going to copy hello. And this will be a partial success because I'm going to put it in the right place. You know, this is no different than just dropping something in your local bin folder and or your sbin folder. This is like an sbin trick with a bash file. So I'm less than impressed all of a sudden. But I guess that's the way these things are. They're just taking advantage of what the operating system does well anyway. That's why it's always easy on Unix and Linux type systems. Hello? Oh, unexpected token. Okay, def hello. I just did something stupid in the Python, but now I know where to fix it. Did I really do something wrong? That looks correct. That looks like good Python. And it thinks it's sbin. It thinks it's a bash file. I will at least know a lot more coming out of this than I did coming in. It doesn't have to be 100% success every time. It would have been nice. Hello? 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 Yeah, I just found the sbin location of my local Python virtual env, and you can drop bash sbins in there. And apparently with nbdev and setup.py, you can drop Python, files posing as Unix scripts, and it'll run it as Python. Know to use the Python interpreter instead of the bash interpreter, sh. Yeah, so I know a little bit more about how it's working, and I can rig it to work using my Linux knowledge, but that's not a real success. It's a lot of knowledge acquired. And I know what I need to know. I know what I need to know. I know what I didn't know. I know what I know now. I know what the system is trying to do conceptually, which I certainly didn't know before. And what it's trying to do conceptually is something I should have figured out it was trying to do conceptually, which is using Unix's very powerful concept of a local bin or sbin directory to put shell scripts that work like commands. There's a lot of programming without programming in Unix and Linux, and these are part of those tricks. So I'll take a look at if anyone's typing to me, and backseating, maybe check the blog out. No, I like the backseating. I definitely want you guys doing my homework for me. My application equals my package.mymodule : my function. Boy, is it worth taking one more stab at this? I will. If you bothered to do that research for me, I will bother to pick it up. Now again, I'm going to be dealing with stripping out the square brackets and the quotes because, these settings.ini have done that. They have kind of YAML-ified Python, which is what YAML is anyway, really. So GitHub brings me back to my GitHub folder, and it's just a bash, some aliases I have. If you're ever wondering, when I use this quick commands to do stuff, I have a few, commands that I have in there to just do some of my shortcuts. Getting back to my GitHub folder is one of them. From there, I can cd into blog slicer, and from there I can vim settings.ini, and from there I can take Bonnie's advice, paste it in as an example. I took it. Okay, and now I try and make sure I follow that pattern. I put it in the wrong spot. This is over here now. So I'm going to guess console scripts remains because that was so close to working. My package, this is the stuff that actually, I guess, goes on the right-hand side of a settings.ini, because what you're looking at is the pure settings, setup.py, the setup.py syntax, but the setup.py syntax is kind of being pushed into the settings.ini syntax of nbdev. So everything that's here is actually lined up like this. So hello equals, oh, maybe it's dot for the function. No, it's calling the function. Package. See, I don't have these subdivisions. This is very indicative of having classes, right? Because people organize their functions into bundles of classes. I just don't have classes. So it's going to be my package name, which is hello. And then it's going to be the function, which is, again, hello. The function is called hello. So I got it. Your backseat driving has confirmed what, I thought I was doing. I still think I'm doing it right. Hello equals hello colon hello. Hello, hello, hello. Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore, hello, hello. Arthur, the movie is Arthur, I'm quoting. Definitely a good movie. You should check it out. A lot of hellos in there. Whew. Last try. Roomba is just about done. But am I trying anything new? I'm trying what I think is supposed to work. It didn't put it in the right spot. So I find that spot. Tilde, pi 310, bin. I don't even need to see the there. I just need to remove the hello that's there because it's supposed to be put there. Now it gets put there from somewhere, and the from somewhere, the moving of the file into that location, it's what's going wrong from this location. So from this location, chances are it's going to want to find it here or in here. Yeah, that's probably the one place I don't have it right now. Move hello into blog slicer directory, and then remove /recursive and forced the bin folder itself from here, and then do a before and after because the hello should be gone from the script file. See, no such file or directory. And now we do that pip install from this location one more time. That was so long ago. Let's see if I can remember it. Pip install /editable from this location. Hello. No module named hello. That's as far as I'm willing to go tonight. But again, like I say, I know what I don't know, and I am so close on the track. I am the hound on the scent, as they would say in Sherlock Holmes. I just ain't Sherlock Holmes. Sorry, folks. I guess I'll keep this video. Yeah, I am well, thanks. Do I ever feel let down by Python's packaging toolchain compared to other environments like Node or .NET? Well, I couldn't even get past Hello World in .NET, so, no, not in .NET. And I don't really have a lot of familiarity with creating packages for Node.js, putting things into NPM. So when you pip install, it goes real smooth when a developer who knows what they're doing has set it up for you. So whether it's gem in Ruby or NPM in Node or whatever it is in .NET, I like them all. I never found a real problem with it. I guess Python's having to keep stuff sorted out with virtual envs is a little bit challenging. But, I had some Node experience lately, and having hundreds of gigabytes, that's what it feels like. I know it's just a few gigabytes of compiled JavaScript that explodes in size. I am not impressed by that much either. I couldn't do it on my local machine. Some fairly modest, Vue stuff filled my laptop. So I was a little intimidated by that. And I never had that experience. I mean, packages like, Pandas and NumPy, just, especially with a wheels system nowadays. So again, any problems I had with the Python packaging system in the past from the user's experience, not from a developer standpoint, has been dissolving away thanks to mostly, I presume, the wheel system that has pre-compiled binaries for all the target machines. Yeah, so that's that. From a user's perspective, take or leave any of these, remote install systems. I guess things like Ruby had it baked in right from the start with their gem system. Python took a while to get it smoothed out. And from a developer standpoint, I don't have experience with much other than Python now. Maybe I do in the past, but I think when I was doing this kind of stuff, there were no repos like this. This is just so awesome to have major repos built into the language. Very modern, I'm on a bandwagon I never enjoyed in the past. So I'm very grateful even for what I have. Thanks, Jackie Puppet, for the question. Anything else before I wind this up? I know there's a time delay with the streaming. I'll see how many people are here. Probably just a few. Not that YouTube tells me the truth anyway. 3 likes already. Well, thanks. You're liking it for the determination rather than the success. But I'll do a follow-up video. This is something I want to do, and the only thing that will stop me is if I can't manage the source files in Notebook, because what's the point of dropping a file in a bin directory? I'll just do that manually if I want these commands the Unix way. How old are the cats? Oh, they're both very young, about a year and a half and 1 year respectively. There's about 6 months between them. They replace a couple of older cats that I had, some 15-year-old cats that had 3 of them that passed away in succession over a period of about 3 years. So these are my new cats. This is my main criteria in choosing a new place to where I'm moving. Gotta allow the cats. Good question. Favorite one of the night. No offense to anyone else, but I love my cats. And it's time to feed them. Well, thank you. But, 15 years, it was a good run. They were very dear to me and my family. And do I have a day job? Yeah, my main day job. I work for a 100-year-old company. I work for Ziff Davis. So, I'm like a sci-fi kind of guy. Ziff Davis has a lot of interesting publications today. They have Mashable. They have PC Mag. They have some health things like Everyday Health. IGN, a big video game site. And their history, though, is like what's really exciting to me, because they weren't Asimov magazine, but they were along the lines of Asimov magazine. I mean, it couldn't be a better match between like the spirit of a company, fiction and hobbyist magazines, and a person, right? I like to align everything. And before this, I was in a marketing agency, when probably the best known one I guess I worked for was 360i. They've been rebranded a lot of times since then. They got gobbled up by Dentsu, and Aegis got acquired by them, 360i. But their claim to fame was you can still dunk in the dark like an Oreo tweet. So I worked for this company for a while as an SEO in New York City in the agency world. but my vibe was not aligned. You know, you don't know who your clients are going to be. You don't know who you're going to be promoting. It's whoever their clients are. So you feel like a little bit of a sellout, like, you know, you're not genuine. So I found my way to a science and technology and health publishing company that just owns a lot of stuff and is 100 years old and successfully made the transition from print media to online. So, you know, good palette, good canvas for my kind of work. Yep. Thanks for the question, Bonnie. You know, they're great. You know, I really hold back a lot because a lot of what I do is proprietary. You know, can't share everything. I am taking, you know, a little bit of risks doing lunch break broadcasts, but there's a lot of overlap what I do for myself for fun. And SEO, search engine optimization. I get things found in search. I've been adapting my search engine optimization skills to different things. So I'm being tapped for my skills for things other than SEO a lot. But my main thing is, you know, when people go to Google and type in keywords for me to help their sites get found. Yeah. I'm a marketer. Compromised. I mean, you know, you want to talk about, I think I talked about the Ikigai with you guys, Ikigai, a Japanese concept of aligning, you know, what you love with what the world needs, what you love with what the world needs, with what you can get paid for, with what you're good at. And I didn't know it. I just doing it intuitively. But over the years, I've always been kind of circling in and trying to get here. And the problem is I love science and technology. You want to know a cool Mike Levin? Google. There's the browser wars happening. Michael Levin, biologist. PIO. He's a microbiologist. He's got an interesting TED Talk out there, and you should really listen to him if you want, you know, a person who has the vibe I would have liked to have had if I was born to the right parents and the right situation in life. I would be this Michael Levin. Watch his stuff. It's just amazing. Hacking life to answer the big questions about life, the universe, and everything. But being that I ended up in marketing as SEO, I came up through this path of Commodore. I thought I found my love at 18 years old, right? I truly thought I found my Ikigai by being a Commodore person, the way someone who, you know, imagine being at Apple during the Steve Jobs days. That was kind of my feeling being at Commodore. But I missed Jack Tramiel, and Commodore missed the boat. So I was being beamed up by the mothership, woo, and the mothership crashed. And then I found myself in marketing in New York City. And, you know, I've been finding the love-worthy bits. I've been struggling to find the love-worthy bits. And I'll tell you, the love-worthy bit I'm working on right now is, you know, bringing to the world the concept, and I'll probably say it in every video, the concept that Linux, Python, Vim, and Git is the cure to a lot of things, even modern anxiety, depression, existential crisis, because it's grounding, because you can think in Vim. And because Vim is like driving. And that makes it like nothing else in the world. There's nothing like Vim. Except, of course, for all the other Vims. And Emacs. in EVIL mode. Right, so there's a lot of like meta stuff going on here. Just like I covet the Michael Levin, the biologist, because he's doing the really interesting stuff in this world. I really love the Lisp / Emacs combination, but you know, I'm too old for this stuff. You know, I found my way to the bow and arrows and the pragmatic tools of the of Python and Vim, as opposed to Lisp and Emacs. And you might say, well, what about Linux, Python, and Vim? Once you're on Emacs, you got an operating system, as the joke goes. So yeah, the world can really, a lot of good can be done in the world by bringing back the old text editors. Which is VI and Emacs. But no one uses really the original VI anymore, so it's always that extra M in there. Or something like it. There's also NeoVim. And if people take this up, if people take up a text editor like Vim early in their life, it's life-changing. It's better than college. You know, it's better than a specific knowledge that's going to go bad, and you're going to have to retrain, and you're going to have to, you know, what doesn't involve pushing data around? Text. Tech is text. Everything is twiddling the bits. There's nothing that at some point or another doesn't go through the abstract layer, the abstraction layer of being encoded as text. Maybe some art, but nothing in technology. You know, doing gene splicing, rocket science, anything, you know, you're moving text around, and it's better to do it in these environments where you can also be your journal. It can also, all these things that just start happening automatically in your hands. I've only been at it for about 12 or 13 years. I could have been at it for 25 years. I discovered Vim in 1991 on Fred Fish, which is a public domain disk, number 591, thanks to a guy named Tony Antonuccio, who said I ought to look at this. Antonuccio, no, I'm not sure if I got his name right. Who said I ought to look at this. Everything on the Amiga is like it is in the Unix world. And it's very important to know how things are in the Unix world, because those are real computers. And the Amiga is so great because it's based in great part on real computers. And these things just sort of went over me. I mean, I kind of got it. I learned to do Amiga script. It was a lot like Bash script. And it served me great good later on when I rediscovered all this. The Amiga went away. I hatefully took up the Windows DOS. I was in it during the DOS days, the transitions to Windows 3.1, before Windows 95, before, you know, I don't know, I guess the big transition after that was XP. And, you know, it's hateful. The whole time I missed the Amiga. And what I was missing is all this Unix stuff. And when Linux came out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. A lot of Amiga people are going over to Linux. They see the same spirit. I still didn't get it because it didn't have the graphics. It wasn't like a graphics thing the way the Amiga was. And then I started piecing it together gradually over the years when things like the Raspberry Pi came out in 2012 or something. I was like, oh, I got to get this thing. I got to unbox it because it's a Linux computer. Plus, it's the little graphics bit that does the sexy parts everyone wants, playing games and stuff. So I've been trying to recapture that spirit ever since. And, you know, finally, Windows is kind of there. See this screen transition? I figured out how to get it on Windows 11. I might be on Windows 11 real soon. But that kind of stuff to switch between virtual screens, virtual desktops, they call it, on Windows, plus the ability to have a genuine Linux or Unix-like experience, plus the browser itself, but plus Jupyter. Jupyter Lab with Python. It all comes together to create a love-worthy environment, something that you can use to ground yourself, something you can use to have a job over the years, something you can use for big projects, little projects, personal life, journals, thinking. It's a tool for thought. You saw my process today. I didn't quite get to the finish line, but you can see I'm going to get to the finish line if the finish line is worth it, right? And now I understand more deeply going, here's what they're doing. If I can't go from a notebook to a command, to a CLI command, not interested. If I have to text edit it anyway, I'll just text edit the things I need and drop them into the bin directory. You saw me do that. It's no big mystery. I'll figure out how to make Python used as the thing at the top. And if I go to my journal and you jump to the last one, be last. Oh, I got to save this, jump to the last. I know how to make it use the correct interpreter. You just put a line like that at the top. This is telling it to use bin bash. Then I can tell it to use the Python exe from wherever it's located and then put Python in the rest of the file. And, you know, the only magic that's being done is stripping off the .py and dropping it in the right location, maybe setting an execute bit. So, you know, I would like that if it happens end to end from a Jupyter notebook to the bin directory. And I see it probably does. I'll get there. Yeah, hey, nice to see you again. Celtic Orthodox prayer. It's like 3 nights in a row. So, you know, this is open-ended now. If anyone has any questions for me, I will gladly answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to be wrapping up with my tail between my legs. But I'll sleep on it, and I'll come back at this with a renewed vigor. This is what it's all about. Even though I didn't get to the finish line, you saw my process, right? You know, just for your information, right? So I'm using this path here, clear. If I type GitHub, again, my profile, the file I'm editing is .bash_profile. Under Linux, under the Windows subsystem for Linux, it executes this every time I open a shell, sets up a few aliases. I work out of a GitHub directory, which is mapped from a mount point, which is C:\user. Sound familiar? Username GitHub. So I actually work on the Linux side using files that are readily available to me on this side. There's my home directory. And inside of my home directory is a GitHub directory, but these are my shortcuts. So I tweaked the GitHub directory up by one. And these folders you see here are basically the same folders as you see when I log in and drop myself into this location. Now from there I can get into any of my GitHub repos. CD blog slicer. And see the kinds of files we were working on today. However, because it's Linux, there is also a /local cd/, well, I can go right up to root. Look in root, cd, oh, user, cd, I can ls in there. I can do this one. There's usually one more level down, you know, but yeah, sbin, cd sbin, ls. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. It's stuff that's put in not by me. There's another one somewhere around here, which, let's see, cd ... Let's see, let me just go back to GitHub. Clear. CD helpers, ls. And this is where I back up my stuff here. And then I move stuff from in here to the sbin that's local, that you can just drop files into. CD sbin from helpers. And you can see I just keep a bunch of little files that I use for various reasons that I would execute, and these are just bash files and stuff that an old release system, and so this technique of doing script files and making them work like generalized commands is a very Unix-like thing to do. And typically they go into SBIN because those are scripts that are acting like binaries. So they at least tell you a little bit of truth of the situation, and they're all in your path. There's also a bin directory, which is where compiled binaries of a similar nature go into, but Unix stuff. On Windows, any advice about compiler PDF workflow? Wow, you're really holding out on the Windows stuff. So you're using Sumatra for PDF reader, Emacs for text editor. Wow, you're hardcore. So Celtic Orthodox Prayer, you're on Windows, but you're using Emacs on a $200 laptop, if I remember correctly. You are a unique individual, all right? If you're using Emacs on Windows on a $200 machine that you're getting to make run Windows, I would ask you, why aren't you just installing Linux natively on that? You sound like a Linux person to me. If you're capable of using Emacs and you're creating PDF files, you sound like someone who should be like using LaTeX or something. So anything can be converted to anything. Don't get hung up on creating PDFs. You can output to PDF from anything. What you should probably be interested in, and it might be Sumatra that's doing it, but is tools like LaTeX that can do some power formatting of stuff. Oh yeah, it always comes down to the drivers. Yeah. Windows has a lock on drivers. So if you're on a more powerful laptop, I would definitely say get your butt to Linux. All this stuff, this wonderful world of everything, is always on Linux first. It's a dichotomy. On the one hand, you have the free and open source world that has everything first, from blogging systems to machine learning stuff to cool free and open source packages like GIMP and Inkscape and stuff. On the other hand, you've got Windows, which always has the up-to-date drivers, and games, mostly because of the games. The games market is on Windows, so it's got the drivers. And, they control the hardware, so, they control the drivers and the styluses and the mice and everything. So it's a problem. It's a problem. It'll go away in time, but for right now, it's hard. Lily Pond to produce music scores. It's a compiler. You would have been an Amiga person in your day. I'm sorry you missed the Amiga. You would have totally, or maybe the Atari ST, but more likely the Amiga, as these machines as creative platforms. Maybe Raspberry Pi. You should look at the Raspberry Pi, except it won't support your drivers, of course. It's always catch-22, as they say in the United States. I don't know if catch-22 is an international expression, but it comes from a book. Oh, you were an Atari STE guy. Yeah, it sounded like it. I could tell from the stuff you were talking. You were either Amiga or Atari. You're 48, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm 51. So yeah, we went through the same phase where, Atari versus Amiga. And really, they came from the same spirit. The guy who made the Amiga was an old Atari engineer. He was the guy who made the Atari VCS, the Atari 2600 engineer, is the guy who made the Amiga. And it was destined to be an Atari computer. Atari was going to buy it, and then Commodore got it first. And then Atari, having, jealously lost the Amiga, used its considerable resources to put something, arguably as good in a lot of ways, especially music, the stuff you were interested in. The Atari had some awesome stuff. Didn't have the Blitter, though, or its Blitter wasn't as good. Sorry. We had the better graphics custom chips. But it was bitplane. ST might have been bitplane too. All these computers from this era that were these wonderful creative platforms were they sealed their own fates because of techniques that made them powerful for the day, but did not make them powerful for the future. Yeah, boy. Yeah, those computers had soul. Yeah. You know, this is everything I'm doing is just trying to recapture the soul of the original Amiga. I mean, I don't have anything particular to bring up or say about it, but tiny bits of that soul are still existing in the form of the Linux free and open source world. The Debian organization, the organization that Ubuntu sprung out of, a lot of good stuff came from there. It's just never been quite the same. The Raspberry Pi has captured a bit of that spirit. So there's some good stuff. I mean, those computers, Raspberry Pi can put an Atari ST or an Amiga on a keychain these days. If you've seen those things that they sell, it's totally amazing. Yeah. All right. So I'm probably wrapping up. I'll see how this stuff is going. I'll close out of my tabs slowly just to see, you know, right as I'm finishing up, people are joining in. If you're here for just the chat and you want to talk to a guy who's been around the blocks a few times, I mean, they say well seasoned. My seasoning is, you know, being born in this strange epicenter of, you know, Unix being invented over here in, you know, New Jersey or New York, wherever that was. The Nokia facility today, in the year and the place I was born. And then Commodore in Westchester, Pennsylvania over here. And then MOS Technologies, who made the 6502 chips of the day, which Commodore ended up buying. And I was right in the epicenter of this stuff, getting a bizarro suburban Philadelphian kid taste of this all. And then that world mostly went away. Unix kind of wasn't on the surface. It was kind of subdued. And then through 90, 89, 90, 91, 92, and then 93 with FreeBSD, Unix and Linux made its reemergence, but it was not recognized by people like me, who were forced to go from the love-worthy world of the Atari ST and the Amiga computer to the not-so-love-worthy world of the Windows machines. I mean, they had Sound Blaster cards, they had ATI cards. If you were into 3D gaming, they were getting pretty cool around 92, 93. Or you could go to the slightly more love-worthy but very expensive world of Color Macs that were kind of spiraling around the drain as Steve Jobs was coming back with an infusion of ideas and new technology from the next computer company that he founded after he was kicked out of Apple. So he came back, and then Apple got the infusion of Unixy love, thanks to Stephen Wolfram of Wolfram Alpha and Mathematica, who convinced Steve Jobs to base the Mac on Unix so it could run Mathematica and he could sell more math. But Unix became mainstreamed when OS 9 became OS X, and Linux was still kind of underground, but people were, fanatical about it, very much the Amiga spirit. And only now, because of developers embracing all that toolchain stuff, you ask about the toolchain is really fantastic. The toolchain of Unix and Linux has now penetrated into the mainstream. That's what Windows Subsystem for Linux is about. And people like me now finally have a bandwagon we can jump onto. But it's not a clear bandwagon. It's a very fuzzy, ill-defined bandwagon. But there's love-worthy stuff in it. And that's what I'm doing. That's what my Akagai, that's what I'm shaping stuff into. Oh, advice about, have advice about a PDF workflow. Linux kernel doesn't recognize you. Using Lily Pond. I was an Atari ST guy. A few more things. I missed those days. And thanks. Yeah, have a good night. That's about where I'm getting to too. Thanks, everyone. This has been really fun. Even more fun when I get past the project I'm working on. I love it when you guys chime in. It's almost a shame to tune out when there's surely a bunch of people here. So I'll give you one more minute. I'm going to start closing my tabs out to see if there's anything worth talking about. I mean, of course, there's stuff worth talking about, but stuff I really feel compelled to say, not so much. Oh, gotta make that work. Or not, if it's not what I think it is. Blank slates. Boom. Make a new journal entry. I'll do a release system. You were looking at my site and you saw all that stuff. You know, it's not going to be in nice shape, but when I talk about this release system, it's just, you know, doing something like this. I'll put a headline on it, &H, and I'll say something like, you know, trying to get, you know, Python SBIN commands from MBDev. Yeah, it's not perfect, but at least when it's released, it will have a URL on it. So we'll do a before and after, and that'll be the final parting shot. For real, for real. So the before is the Python web crawler from yesterday. That was a big success. That was as successful as this was a failure. But that was, you know, territory I was really familiar with. It must be the 20th web crawler I've written in my life. But this NBDev stuff is like just completely new to me. As is the Python packaging and release system, as was pointed out up here. You know, do I like it as much? You know, I don't know. I'll let you know in another year when I've become a bit expert at it. Right now, it's just a lot of mystery. And so it gets done, but this Jekyll, I call it my blog slice and dice system, but really I'm using the Jekyll static site generator. And it has a little bit of a time delay. It's implemented as a built-in feature of GitHub. And stuff does go wrong sometimes. It might, there, yeah, no, it's only just a wait. So there's my notes from today. I write an awful lot, right? Yeah, I do write a lot. So there'll be a video. I'll embed the YouTube video. I'll put the link to this page in the video and the video on this page, making that back and forth reciprocal thing going on, my field of SEO. And over time, I'll just gradually rise in search on a scattering of the topics I talk about by statistics, by just chance. I'll start to get the search hits, and then those will be my foot in the doors. I'll be like, people want to hear more about this. It becomes my suggestion box, and people are talking to me through their search hits, through finding my site through search, which I can see just the same way as you're talking to me through chat. Oh, thank you very much. I need to translate it. So Celtic Orthodox prayer, you probably know more about my own culture than I do, I got to tell you. Goodbye. Yep, thank you. Goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to spread the word, whatever, thumbs up, you know, anything you can do to help. I'm keeping tension in the machinery. A video will be coming up about tension in the machinery. Good night, everyone.